Hey everybody, welcome. Today we're in the Cranium's house. Shh, we don't want to wake them up right now. Here's what they look like. And if you've not made one of these, I show how to make this exact iron-on with glitter and rhinestones if you'd like on my website, pattyannsplace.blog, also on YouTube, youtube.com/pattyannsplace. Well, today I'm here doing another Auntie Tay takeover. Pretty excited about it. It's going to be another Halloween themed thing. So follow me down here to my computer and let me show you what we're going to do. Okay, this is what we're going to make today. It's a beautiful cake topper, perfect for Halloween, with this little frog with a witch's hat on. You'll need, for this project, you're going to need green cardstock, black cardstock, white cardstock, because this is a print then cut, and I'll show you how to do that. And then you'll also need some of this glitter from Auntie Tay. This one's called So Shiny, and you get 4 ounces in a bottle like this, and it really is so shiny. I don't know if you can tell by there, but it's beautiful. And I love it because it's really fine, and this is made in the United States, so not to worry about anything in this thing. Let's see, what else do we need? We need some parchment paper, and that's just to help us when we're using the glitter so we don't make a mess all over everything. And then the other 2 things I like to use, and I'm going to have links for all of this stuff down below so you can look and see what I was talking about. This is something called Glossy Accents. I love, love, love to use this on eyes and things like that because it just gives them a little bit of a sheen that makes them look like they're really lifelike. The other thing that I use, now this is an older version, is I like to use an ATG gun. This is an older one because I've been doing this for years. Now they have like a hot pink one. I love, love, love using this whenever I'm making cards or doing anything with cardstock. Rather than using liquid glue, I prefer using this whenever I can because I don't have any issues with getting glue all over my fingers or getting blobs in my cardstock. I just really like using this. And again, I'll have a link down below so you can look it up and see if it's something that you might be interested in purchasing. So let's get started. Okay, here on my screen you can see what we're going to work with. I have the frog here, and I'll have a link for him down below for you from a free site that you can use. So here's our little frog guy, and I'm going to duplicate him by clicking on him and just dragging my Alt key. I did want you to know that those of you of Cricut Design Space, you can try this program out for free. Everything I'm doing today is free. If you just want to download this program to try it, you won't be able to save these things in a format that you can use in Cricut Design Space, but you can try it and see how easy it is and see if you like it before you purchase it. Like I said, it's a one-time purchase. I'll have a link for it for you down below. Anyway, so here's what we're going to have. And I've already duplicated the frog. Here he is, and I'm going to move him off to the side too. I have 3 of them just so I make sure I have extras. So I'm going to concentrate first on doing the word Hocus Pocus. So I'm going to come way over here to the left-hand side and click on the A, which is the text tool. Come over here, click on my mat, and write in Hocus, all in caps, Hocus. And I'm going to hit the Enter key so the Pocus is on the 2nd line, just like that. Okay, this is not the font I want, so I'm going to click off, click back on to get all these boxes around it. I'm going to come way over here to the text style panel. Way over here on the right, you see it's lit up blue. Click on that, and this is going to allow me to pick the text that I want. And the font that I'm actually using is called Orange Fizz. You can see it right here. It says it up here. And I got it from dafont.com. I like how nice and thick it is, and I think it works perfect for this cake topper. So I can get rid of this right now and click on this and make it larger. Okay, I don't like how far apart the words are. So what I'm going to do is double click back on it again so I get the text editing function back. And you can tell I have that because there's a green box around it. Now I can come over here to the right, back to the text style panel, and click on that. And down here, towards the very bottom, it says line spacing and character spacing. Of course, the character spacing is basically the letter spacing, and I'm happy with the letter spacing. I don't like the line spacing, so I'm going to change that, and I can either use this slider here, or I can change it to whatever I'd like. So I can do this, or I can change it, and what I actually wanted it to be was at 85%. So that turned out perfectly. That's just what I want. I'm going to click off of it and get rid of the textile panel once again. All right, this one I'm going to turn gold because this is the one I'm going to use that double-sided adhesive paper for that you'll see in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it gold first. Come up here to the color palette and turn it kind of really yellow. And then I'm going to duplicate it, and there's several ways to do that. I can right-click and duplicate, or I can just hit Control and D on my keyboard for duplicate, or I can hold down my Alt key, and notice that my hand turns into a plus sign then, and that means I can drag a duplicate out with my mouse. There we go. So I'm going to leave this one over here because I'm going to use that as my gold layer. Right now what I'm going to do though, if you look over here at our sample, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make the green offset. But notice the green offset not only goes around the text, but it also goes around the frog. So I'm going to need one of my little frog guys and bring him up here. And I can just leave him right like that. But before I mess with him, what I am going to do is I'm going to trace him so I only have the outline of him. So this is how you can make your own SVGs in Design Space, or not in Design Space, for Design Space in this program. So I'm going to come over here to this thing that looks like a piece of toast. It's actually the trace panel. Click on it, and I'm going to select the trace area just like this. And notice he comes in yellow. I want him to be all yellow, and this will be confusing maybe to you guys if you're not familiar with this program, but I have lots of classes, so it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so I'm going to make the threshold here go all the way up to 100%, and then I'm just going to say trace outer edge, because all I want is the outline of him. Alright, it doesn't look like it did anything, but if I drag him away, look what I'm left with, the outer edge. And I think just to make it easy for us, I'll change it to black. So I have it selected. I'll just come over here and change it to black. Now you'll notice that there's a little red line around him. Just ignore that. That just shows where it might cut if I have it set to cut. So I'm going to bring this over here next to my word, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to group these two things together. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset both of these. So I'm going to come back over again to the offset, or first time, I guess this is the first time we've been here today. Notice it's a star that has an offset around it. And if I hover over it, it says Offset Panel. I'm going to click on that, and that opens up the offset panel. So I'm going to click on the word offset, and notice what that did. That put an offset around the frog and the text. I'm going to change this because I want the offset to be bigger, because I can show you right now if I change it to green, because that's the first color I'll use. You see where the offset is, right? But I want all of these little pieces closed in with green just like it is on my sample. So I'm going to make my offset bigger by coming over here, and I know what I want to change it to just from trial and error. I'm going to change it to a 2 and say enter. And it made it quite a bit bigger. And I'm pretty happy with that, but I'm going to show you something else I'm going to do with it. So I'll just say apply. Then I'm going to drag the top layer off. And the only thing I want to have, if you'll notice over here on my sample, the only thing that I have that's still going to be cut out of the green are these 4 places right here. These 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The rest of this stuff, I don't want my machine to cut. So if I double click on this image, I get these little things called nodes, and I can get rid of them. So if I get rid of the nodes right here, my machine's not going to cut that anymore. If I get rid of the nodes right here, my machine won't cut those anymore. So to get rid of them, all I have to do is hold down my Shift key, and while I'm holding it down, just draw a box around the nodes I want to get rid of. Now notice I don't want to go over too far because then I start getting rid of nodes up here that I need. So let me click off and try that again. Double click to get the nodes, hold down my Shift key and grab ones I don't want. Looks like I can only do those right now. Hit delete on my keyboard, hold down my Shift and get those, delete. Hold down the Shift first and then grab these and delete. So now the only thing that's going to cut is the outer edge of this. Oh, and this little guy right here, which I didn't want still. So let me get rid of him. Another way you can get rid of them is just click on one of these nodes. When your mouse pointer goes from a hand to the little square, you can click on one of the nodes. That makes it white, which makes it the active node. And you can hit delete on your keyboard. Then that one turned white, I can hit delete. Now this one turned white, delete, and it's all gone just like I wanted. So let's bring our sample part back up here and see how that's going to look. Okay, that's really going to look good. But notice over here in our sample, we also have a black outline or a black offset. So I'm going to click on this green one again. Just come over here to the star. And I know that's the offset panel because when I hover over it, it says offset panel. Click on that and just say offset. And again, now this time I've also done some more trial and error, and you can make it however you like it to be. But you see these little spots inside? Well, let me make it black so you can see. Okay, see these little holes in here that go to white? That means it's cut all the way through. So like if I drag it, oh, well, you can tell. See how it's cut all the way through? And the black is cut all the way through. I don't want it like that. So what I'm going to do is just grab the green off. And once again, I'm going to double click to get the nodes. Hold down my Shift key. Just drag a box around those guys. And hit delete. And I have a few more here to get rid of. So I'll drag a box around them and delete. And now it's perfect. So I have this. Did I make it big enough? Uh-oh. I guess it's big enough. I don't remember if I recall if I made it large, but that works. That's really pretty. Okay, so now we're not going to use this layer because it's got him as a silhouette and we want him as a print then cut. So I can bring this back up. Let me right click on it to bring it to the front. Bring to the front. So that's going to be my gold glitter. And then I'm going to bring one of these guys, right click on him and bring him to the front. And he's going to be my print then cut that's going to go on the top of my cake topper. So let's get rid of these things now. Send them way off to the side was probably fine. And I'm going to concentrate on this. So let's see. The only thing I have to worry about for print then cut happens to be my little frog, because he's the only thing that's going to be print then cut. As long as these other pieces fit on my mat, I'm fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to group all this together for a minute, move it out. I'm going to come up here to the page setup, and I'm going to set my page, instead of it being automatic cameo, I'm going to set it to 8.5 by 11, or I could set it to current printer, which would make it the same. So I'll just say 8.5 by 11. So that's my sheet I have to work with. But let's wait for a second. I know, let's see. I'm going to change it to a custom size, because I know the only size that I can use for print then cut on my Cricut machine, and we'll go with that, is the width can be 6.75 and the height can be 9.25. There we go. So that's as large as I can make for print and cut on my Cricut machine, and pretty close to what I can do on my Cameo. So I'm going to bring this over here, and of course, let's see. Let's rotate this. Okay, this isn't going to fit the whole thing on an 8.5 by 11 for this. Let me ungroup this and show you. If I ungroup this and take the frog off, so this is not a print and cut, so I don't need to worry about it. This is going to fit on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I could scroll it down a little bit. Let's do that. So it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So if I grab all of this, I can just make it smaller. So all of this will fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I won't need to worry. Okay. All right. So in this program, all I have to do is go take this guy off because he's going to be a print and cut. I'll do him next. I'm going to hit send, and I need to move it down just a little hair because it was off the mat. And if I come over here to fill, I have all these different things that are going to be cut or printed, whatever, over here. I'm going to check this mark so everything's unchecked. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and cut the black. So notice, if you can see right here, there's a black line around that spot. If I uncheck it, watch what happens. It's gone. If I check it, that shows it's going to be cut. Okay, so we would cut this first. And then the next, after that's cut, I would check the green, bring the green over here and cut that. Not the black, just the green. After the green is cut, I can remove it off the mat, put this on here, uncheck the green, and get the gold. Now the gold, I will need to change the type of materials I'm using over here. For this one, I'm going to be using double-side adhesive tape, adhesive, and it's right here on my machine. Now if you have a Cricut, you'll have to double check and do a little test to see if there's double-sided adhesive on there and what settings you would use. So I would change that to double-sided adhesive. And this one I won't be cutting at all because that's my real frog. This one, when I go to cut it, it's going to be cardstock plain. And this one's going to be cardstock plain. And that's nothing to worry about. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Cameo, and I'll show you how I cut these just a little bit, and then we'll get busy putting it together down on my desktop. Okay, I decided before I went ahead and cut anything, I should show you how to do the frog now. The frog is right here, and he's going to be a print then cut. I'll show you how to do it on the Cameo. So the first thing you'll do is you'll come to the page setup. The next thing I need to do is come over here to the third button over, and that's the registration marks. Click on that. And since I'm using a Cameo, I will put type number 1. And then as long as he doesn't go outside of this line right here that you can imagine, or I could turn it on for you, I'll show you, and it doesn't go into that checkerboard type stuff, it should be just perfect. Now if you want to see those lines, I can go back to the first icon here, and I can show the cut border and the print border. And so there, I want to make sure that my little frog dude does not go outside of that line right there, or his little tootsies will be cut right off. So I want to make sure he's within those lines. And again, this is on for Cameo because that's what I have. So the next thing that I'm going to do, and you know what I think I'll do, is I think I'll make 2 of him. So I'm going to hold down Alt on my keyboard and make another one, see if he'll fit. 2 of them will fit. They sure will, just in case I want to use 2 of them for some reason. So I'm going to do 2 of the little froggy guys, and I'm going to come up here to File, Print, And for preferences, I'm going to make sure that my print quality is the best that it can be. And I'm doing it on cardstock, so I don't have that as an option, but I'm just going to make it matte presentation or other matte paper and say OK. And then I'm just going to go ahead and print this and let that be over there printing while we go to the next stage. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put my print then cut through my machine and let it cut. So I need to make sure that it's oriented the same way on my mat, my real mat, as it is on my virtual mat. And my mat is pretty old and not very sticky, so I like to use some of this thin masking tape to make sure that it doesn't move on me. Just going to put a piece up here at the top, being careful not to put anything over top of where the registration lines are, or it will not work. Okay, that should be pretty good. All I need is like that. That holds my mat in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and load my mat. And I'm going to go to send over here on my computer. So what my machine is doing right now is reading the registration marks so that it knows where to cut. And once it's done with that, it will begin cutting the frogs. Okay, this has finished cutting, so I'm going to unload it. And carefully take this off. So the next thing I've got to do is I'll take and get my black and put it on here to cut out the black offset. And again, I'll use this tape because, like I said, my mat is not very sticky anymore. And I don't always keep my eye on what's going on, so I don't want it to slip. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and now I'll load in the black. And I can actually put the green on here as well. And just go to send. And I'm going to go by, fill. Uncheck everything. The first one I'm going to do is the black. So I can leave the green run right here. It's not going to be a problem. And just go ahead and check the black and make sure I have it on cardstock, which I do. So all I need to do now is to say send. And it's going to go ahead and cut the black, and I'll do the same thing with the green, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, again, to do the word Hocus Pocus, I'm going to do it on this special material. Now, if you look down here at my screen, or my desk, this is what the material looks like. It's yellow on one side and white on the other. You're going to put it white side or yellow side down on your mat. So I'm reusing a piece that I've already used a bit of, as you can see here. So I'm going to have it cut out of the top part. Let's do it like this. You can see. I'm going to do it out of the top part here because I've already used this because I made another cake topper that said Happy Birthday. So on this portion down here, I'm going to have it cut out Hocus Pocus. And again, if you look up here, I'm going to change it. I don't want it on vinyl glossy. I'm going to change it on double-sided adhesive. And make sure that my blade is set, since I'm using the ratchet blade, at about 5. And put it in there well. Make sure it clicks down and then clicks in. And then I will just hit, well, load my mat first. You do not mirror this because it's not HTV. And I'm just going to click on send. Change my, oh no, let's leave that alone. I'm just going to hit send. And I'll be right back. Okay, next comes the best part of putting it together. So I've cut this out and I weeded this part off, so I'm left with the letters, and that's exactly what I would like to have. And then what I'm going to do is first I'm going to glue these two pieces together. Okay, and I like to use one of these tape runner guns, an ATG gun. I'll have a link down to it below. This one happens to be one that I've had for a long time because I've been doing this for many years, and this is an older version. Now they have a really pretty bright pink one, but they work the same, and I love using this. I never have to worry when I'm doing cardstock about having, you know, that little jaggedy, goofy looking lines because of, or bumps because of wet tape or wet glue. Anyway, I love using this. Whoops. There we go. Get rid of this part right here. Okay. So it's ready to be put on. Just line it up and press it down like that. And that is perfect. Let me take it off of my Cricut mat. Alright, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting these letters on here. So I'm going to line them up how I think they go. So here's Hocus. Like that. That's perfect, just like that. So what I have to do now is I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to take off the yellow part. That's going to reveal the sticky underneath. Okay, and there it is, the sticky underneath. So then I can just stick this one on here. Now if I had welded these together, or if it was a cursive font, of course, you know, I could do this in one piece. But since they're individual letters, I like to do it like this. So again, I'm just getting my fingernails in here. If you don't have fingernails, let me show you what else I've used. So there's the Hocus. Okay. And that was a little crooked. Doesn't really matter terribly. Okay, there we go. If you don't have fingernails, then you can just go ahead and take your weeding tool, go on the back of this, and just kind of grab up a little bit. Make sure that it's sticky what you've got left here. You don't want the sticky to come up with the yellow piece. You need to have the sticky left on the white, and then put this piece on here. Okay, Hocus, and the O. So I'm going to take this off. Again, making sure that the shiny or the sticky is left on the letter. Hocus. Let's see, which way did that go? Maybe this way. Hocus. Okay, we're nearing the last step of the process, and I did not tell you that I do use my glue gun in here if I'm making mine into cake toppers, and I'll show you what I do. I also use chopsticks that I oftentimes ask if I can have an extra set at one of the Chinese restaurants in town. And so now what I've done is I've put all of the word on here, the first part. Now all I have to do is go back with my tool and grab this up so that the sticky part is left on the green, because I'm going to stick the glitter to that. So all I'm doing is using this tool, picking up these letters, and the sticky part is staying on the green cardstock. So remember, this is the double-sided adhesive from Silhouette that I'm using, and I'll have the link to it below because it really makes for a fun project and it makes it really easy, I think. It looks like I missed a little piece there somehow. I'm not sure what that is. Well, might have a little spot that's not going to have glitter because I can't see very well. My glasses aren't working in this light that well. All right, so there we have that all taken off. Let me get rid of these pieces. And now let me move out of these too. What I'm going to do is get my Auntie glitter, and I'm going to put that on here where all of the tape is. So just going to go ahead and I take the top all the way off. I don't like to use the shaker thing. I just shake this right over all of it, making sure to get everything. And it looks like I'm using a lot more than what I need to, but I'll just put all this back in the bottle and it'll be fine. So there's that. And I just kind of wiggle this around a little bit, make sure everything's covered well. Then I just go like that and it all comes off perfectly. And look at that glitter, y'all. Doesn't it look great? I mean, I think that looks really super. If you could see how pretty it's shining here. I think my lights make it look a little bit weird, but it's really pretty glitter. All different colors Auntie has over there. And again, remember to use my name, Patty Ann, to get a 10% discount on anything you buy. So you fold this up. I don't want to waste any. So that's why I like to use parchment paper. And I'll just put it right back in the bottle. So then I've hardly used any of it. Put the lid back on before I make a mess. And now this is ready to be taped. And what I do is I use my tape runner. Here it is. I like to use this all the time, my ATG gun, to put it together. And I may have already, this is the second time I'm doing this because my video wasn't working properly. So if I've already shown this part, pardon me for doing it yet again. But my video didn't work. So it's a redo. All right, so let me put this on here so you can see how pretty this is going to look, just like that. And then I'm going to put the frog on here, and I could pop dot him up if I wanted to, but I think I'll just glue him on for right now, like this, with my ATG gun. That's good enough for now. And the last thing I wanted to show you was what I do. Well, two last things, I guess. Here are the glossy accents that I like to make him have a little bit of shine to his eyes. It just makes him kind of come alive. And if I'm doing like Disney princesses from Auntie Tay's collection or anything like that, I like to make the glossy eyes as well because it just makes them look alive. Again, that's glossy accents, and I'll have a link for you below. Okay, oh, I shouldn't have put the glossy accents on though, because now what I wanted to show you was how I take the extra piece that I have so I can make this into a cake topper. So what I do is line these up perfectly, and I still can do it. I'll just put the glue on this side. So I take out one of my chopsticks, and hopefully my gun is heated up enough, and I put glue on the chopstick like that, and just stick it on the center here as long as I like. And see, I like to put my glue stick or my hot glue gun right in a cup, so then I don't have to worry about it trying to stand up on that little stand that they come with. Mine never will stay up, so I just throw it in a cup. Okay, I'm gonna put some more glue here and just kind of dot glue around on here a bit just to get it to stay together. It's good enough. Go ahead and put this together like so. And there we have a beautiful Halloween cake topper, just like that. It's going to stand up, stay in a cake, stay in an arrangement. Could make it, like I said, with Thanksgiving something like that. But you can see how easy it is to make offsets and make stuff look really pretty and professional if you have this. And again, you Cricut people, just download the free version and play with it, see if you like it. You won't be able to save things to use with your Cricut machine until you go ahead and purchase the business edition. But it's not very much money, and it's a one-time purchase. Anyway, just my idea that I really love using this for my Cricut machine and my Cameo. So again, thank you for joining me. Remember to check out Auntie Tay's website, shopauntietay.com, and remember to join me over at youtube.com/PattyAnn'sPlace and on my blog, pattyannsplace.blog. So thanks again for joining me. See you guys again soon. Bye-bye.